Sagittarius, welcome to your July of 2016 Sidereal Astrology forecast. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different. Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about the most important astrological events taking place for you here this month. If you do want a more specific look, do check your weekly where I go into the specific aspects of how these planets are actually aspecting each other in the chart. But in this video, you should still get a general look and still get a pretty good idea about what this month has in store. So in July, the first major thing we have is a new moon in Gemini on the 4th. So this is your 7th house of relationships. So new beginnings now with your relationships and all one-to-one connections, sometimes business dealings, contracts, partnerships at work, that kind of a thing. But I think generally for all of you, on your perspective of relationships, new things taking place. So the month starts with that lowering of energy, which is that new moon. It's a good time to reflect on these relationship matters. And then as the month unfolds, and really as the next 6 months in the next year unfolds, you're going to find a lot of these things beginning to take root and cultivate there for you in that sector. Now on the 8th, we have Venus going into Cancer, followed by Mercury on the 11th and the Sun on the 12th. So there is definitely this shift taking place now from your 7th house into your 8th house. And this is where we go from relationships, which is more on just kind of the surface level kind of a thing, to the deeper side of relationships. That's what the 8th house is about. It's about intimacy, it's about openness, it's about trust. And of course it all starts with self. As we become more open with self, then it naturally does transpire in those relationships. But I think things are definitely going into that deeper level. And I think it's still very much about relationships in that sense. But even in your personal life, a great month for that deep diving and seeing where there might be some of those fears or wounds or things that we can accept within ourselves and do that spiritual transformation, that spiritual healing, which is so important. And with anything that is about research, diving deep, seeing the truth is a great source of enjoyment with Venus there. Mercury is that you can enjoy it quite a bit. And then the Sun is you're gaining energy through this deeper connection and these intimate relationships perhaps and whatnot. Some of you might also be experiencing the shared resources side of it. So seeing how you can have healthy codependency in your relationship as well, or relationships. And this will be the location of the next new moon, which will be next month regarding this 8th house, this deeper side of life. So that's that middle part of the month. Then on the 17th, we do have Mars trining up to Chiron. The interesting thing about Mars is that he's finally direct. He's been retrograde for the past few months. And this has been, for all of us collectively, a bit of this reflection of our motivational levels, our drives, that kind of a thing. And what you've been reflecting on particularly is probably your aspirations, which was that 11th house, retrograde Mars. So now with all those aspirations moving forward for you, it's a great month to put energy into them. It could be your hopes, your wishes, anything in the future. Also the value that you derive from your work or your career as well, the enjoyment there. And some of you might even be doing some networking or some group things also. So that's a great source of motivation, a great source of drive. And I think around the 17th, you could be feeling healed with that. And the healing is really coming through your home and family life, I feel like. So that can be another area that's supportive for you around the 17th because you've had Chiron recently go into your 4th this year, which is about this healing with your past, your roots, your emotional body, home, family, and health. You know, anything that's a foundation in your life. And so still great for that this middle part of the month. Now on the 19th, we have a full moon in your sign of Sagittarius. So this is now a culmination of the last 6 months that you've been putting forward, because 6 months ago you guys had the sun in your sign, and so that was a time of new beginnings for you. A lot of your desires, the things you want to cultivate, your goals in life, things relating to yourself are now coming up to a high point, to an awareness. And so it's this sort of status check. It's the yearly status check for you, this halfway point to see how things are unfolding in your life in terms of your desires and the things that you want to cultivate. You'll notice that some things are working, some things are not. The things that are not, let go of what's not, or maybe modify or change what's not, and start putting energy into what is. And it's a great month for this. In fact, this has already been the case because last month you guys had this full moon as well. We had 2 full moons in Sagittarius back to back. And now you're continuing with more of that, I think, awareness of self a bit of that free-spirited energy, which is your natural sign, Sagittarius, and illuminating a lot about your life as well. So that's the 19th. On the 21st, we have Mercury going into Leo, followed by Venus on the 24th. So there is this shift, and the shift is going into this 9th house of yours. So there's definitely this transformation occurring this month. And by the end of the month, this last week, you're probably going to find more of the free-spirited energy of it, because that's what the 9th house is. It's that house associated with your sign. So this could be free-spirited with learning about philosophy, expanding your mind for this last week, travel, adventure, connecting to nature, for example. You can find all that very enjoyable this last week, and maybe this is naturally what you're thinking about too. And this is because of, I think, this inner transformation that occurred this middle part of the month, and what's still occurring with your sun still in your 8th house, but there's definitely this more free-spirited energy, I think, this last week. Now on the 29th, Uranus is going to go retrograde in that 4th house, so now it's a reflection over these next 6 months for you guys to reflect on your home life, family, and your health. This has been an area that's been so important for you to have more freedom with, to liberate yourself here, whatever that means for you personally. And through that reflection, or through this reflection over the next 6 months, you'll be re-examining what really does give you freedom in these areas, and how to access that individuality and that freedom to liberate yourself here and let go, because Uranus is in Pisces, so this is about detachment, letting go of these roots, which can be very liberating. All right, so Sagittarius, I hope you guys have a fantastic month. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next month.